What's up, everybody? So, today is going to be just a story from real life that involves, of course, scaling, some of the common topics that we cover regularly. Every now and then, we nerd out on some really complex CrossFit minutia or whatever it happens to be. But a lot of times, it seems like people also really just enjoy the stories of real life and how real life gets in the way, right? Because most of us fall into the category of real people, real jobs, real responsibilities, real schedules that don't leave as much time as we would like to. Most of us are not full-time sponsored athletes. When you wake up in the morning and you're like, my schedule today says what it said yesterday. Train. That's it. Most of us aren't living that life. And yesterday I had one of those examples exactly. So yesterday's CrossFit Linchpin workout was intentionally just a bruiser. Interval, shorter time domain, high intensity, designed to keep you moving. Supposed to be lovingly devastating. How about that? I do it because I care. So yesterday's workout was 3 intervals, each for time of 30 GHD sit-ups, then 25 deadlifts, and then 20 calories on the air bike, or 15 for women. And the deadlifts were intentionally light. 155 pounds for men, 105 for women. And I also, if you want to do this workout, I also said, that loading and rep range was just supposed to be obnoxious. A little light, higher reps, keep you moving, not have to break it up a lot. So again, it can be short time domain, high intensity. But let's just say, I said also you could use 40% of your 1 rep max deadlift if that made more sense. So for example, talking about the gentleman, it's 20 deads at 155. If your 1 rep max deadlift is 200 pounds, well then 25 reps at 155 is no laughing matter. So that's not good. So you would want to use 40% of what your 1 rep max is. Conversely, if your deadlift is 1,000 pounds, well, 155 is only 15% of your 1 rep max. That's not going to do it, so use 40%. Go ahead and use 400 pounds if you have a 1,000 pound deadlift. You're welcome. So anyway, 3 intervals, the GHD, the deadlift, and calories on the bike with a 1-to-1 to a 1-to-2 work to rest ratio on that. So for that one, people were doing it, and it's possible to do an interval sub 3. You're going to pay for it, and it's going to feel really, really bad. But an interval can be done sub 3. So let's just say it takes 3 minutes. Wouldn't have taken me 3 minutes because I don't make a lot of money in the air bike. So if I do a 1-to-1 work rest ratio, that's 3 minutes of rest. If I do a 1-to-2, that's 6 minutes of rest. So split the difference. Let's say it's 4 or 5 minutes of rest in there. So long story short, that's the workout. That's how it was broken down. Yesterday, I've got 2 boys, a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. We've got a 7-month-old baby. Life is full, and people may relate to this, right? And if not, your day is probably just occupied by something else. So we've got both our boys they go to different schools because of their ages. Both in the mornings have to go to different locations at different times. That's not logistically fun to do. And then, of course, when they're picked up in the afternoon, it's totally different times, totally different locations. Well, that's, again, disruptive, let's just say, to the day. And then they're in sports. So last night, Nash had lacrosse starting at 5 p.m. at a location. Deacon had basketball like 2 hours later at a totally different location. So each one has to get dropped off and picked up at those things either. The baby's doing stuff. I'm working all day long. It's just one of those days where how I had in my head as to how the day was going to work out and when I was going to get to work out, as I've said before, life has little regard for your plans. So it just rolled a hand grenade into my beautiful schedule, detonated it, and that was it. My goal was I was going to get in the gym at 4 p.m., get in a nice warm-up, because if you're going to sprint, if you're going to do a high-intensity interval day, you're not doing that cold, at least if you care about your body and well-being and you want to do well in the workout, you got to get warm. So I'm going to get in there at 4, going to do a good warm up for about 15 minutes, hit these intervals hard, and I'll be good to go. And if I'm thinking that each interval, let's just say, is going to take me about 4 minutes, I'm going to rest a 1.5 work to rest interval. That's 6 minutes of rest. That's about 24 minutes of work, of doing the workout and the rest periods, about 24 minutes. I'm going to take about 15 minutes to warm up. That's 39 minutes total that I kind of need to have in the gym. So call it 40 minutes. That's no cool down, that's no stretching. That's just 40 minutes to do a good warm up and hit this workout. So ideally I'd like to stretch and have a little bit of time after that, but 40 minutes minimum. Well, that's not how it happened. I didn't get in the gym at 4 p.m. I've got a hard out that I need to leave with Nash at 5 p.m. I'm watching the minutes just tick away. I'm doing the math in my head about how I'm just screwed. It's just not going to happen. How can I change this? How can I modify this? I got to get something in because the boys have sports in the afternoon and all that stuff. And, I'm not going to get it done. If I don't do it now, it ain't going to happen. And I think a lot of people probably can relate to that, right? Day gets away from you. Suddenly you've got less time than you wanted to. You either do it now or you're not going to do it. So, a little hamster brain, started doing some quick math. I'm like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. We regularly, when we say that CrossFit and, what we do at any CrossFit gym, CrossFit Linchpin's no different, things are infinitely scalable, right? And a lot of the times when we hear the phrase infinitely scalable, I think what pops into people's minds is, okay, that's for a newer athlete. And we're going to scale the loading. Maybe it's too heavy. If it's we're going to scale the reps. We're going to scale the volume if it's too much. Maybe the complexity of the movement. A new athlete doesn't quite have push jerks or muscle ups yet, so we're going to scale that movement for a beginner. But a lot of times it's loading, reps, volume, complexity of movement when you think about infinitely scaling. Well, the other big thing that you can scale is the intensity of the workout. And that's a really important knob that you can twist or turn depending upon what you have going on. And that's exactly what I did yesterday. So I got into the gym with a small amount of time, not that 40 to 45 minutes that I would need to do the workout really properly. I had about half that. I had about 20 minutes or I had nothing. So again, some quick math in my head. I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just do the workout not as 3 distinct intervals of high intensity with rest between each, ample rest. I'm going to mash them all together and just do 3 rounds for time. I say for time because I ran the clock. I'm going to do 3 rounds at a moderate pace because I have no time to warm up. So that's what I did. And by mashing it all together and removing the rest, here I think is an important part. To the uninitiated, I think that seems like, oh wow, you took the rest out. You did it with no rest. That means you made the workout harder. Wow, no rest, so much tougher. Absolutely false. The opposite is true. I made the workout easier by removing the rest. I made it different as well, no doubt about it. But it's unquestionably an easier workout removing the rest periods, which is why understanding rest, taking ample rest that you can do the repeats and hit them hard, that's what we were going for. That was Monday's workout. Life did not allow me to do that. So, because people after they did the workout as was prescribed were, snapping photos and doing things as they were laying on their back on the ground, devastated, because that's what short time domain high intensity does. That was not my experience. Removing the rest periods, moving at a casual, moderate pace, when it was over, I just walked away. Everyone else looked like they'd been hit by a train. Now, here's the thing. That workout was programmed because based upon what everything else that we were doing the week before and this week, short time domain, high intensity, with planned rest, made sense. So, I still did all the same work. I did 3 rounds. I get in 30 GHDs every time. I did 3 rounds of 25 deads at the prescribed weight every time. And I hopped on the Echo bike at the end of every round. So I get in all the same work, same volume of training, but my intensity was much lower. So I guess what I'm trying to say is when I look at this, my two options yesterday were do nothing because I can't do the workout properly without a proper warm up, or just walk in like I had to, less than ideal, load the barbell, and just start working out. And then I actually got in functional movements, doing GHDs, I'm doing deadlifts, I'm hopping on the air bike. Functional movements, check. Wonderful variance of all the movements, check. Got my heart rate up, check. Got a good sweat going, check. The only thing I didn't check is I had a moderate intensity day. Everyone else had a high intensity day. But my other option was do nothing. And so when I rest my head last night on the pillow, I'm so happy that I did something because the opposite would have been doing nothing. And as we've said before, Linchpin, I don't like that phrase that doing something's better than nothing because I think that sells it short. Saying doing something is better than nothing implies that it's only marginally better. Like, something's better than nothing. Like, it's just a little bit better. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I think doing something is infinitely better than nothing. And consistency wins in the long run. I get to log another day on BTWB as a win, as a green dot that I did it today. I got in another training session. And as I look back over the months and the years, and those green dots accumulate, consistency wins in the long run. And so that was my my mindset of that. And I'll even say this: since I had no time to warm up, I didn't just, even though I was moving moderately, do everything unbroken. Even though, depending upon where you are in your fitness journey, this may or may not apply to you. But for a lot of people, 20 sets of 25 deadlift at 155 or 105, it's not that bad, right? I had zero warm up whatsoever. I hopped onto that GHD. If I was warm, I could do a set of 30 unbroken, and I probably could have done a set of 30 unbroken, not with no warm up, but that would have been what I like to call unintelligent. So I did 10 or 15, took a little break, did another 10, took a break, did the last 5, hopped off, went to the barbell, did 10 or 15 reps, dropped the bar, took a good 20 seconds rest, did like 2 more sets of 5 to get to my set of 25. Like, that was kind of my warm-up as I was starting to move. Hopped on the bike. I'd love to tell you some amazing war story that I hopped on the bike and I just got after it and there was just, fireworks in the background. Absolutely not. First time on the bike, just pedaled casually. And then I could just tell that I hadn't warmed up because my second round felt better than my first round, and my third round felt like my best round. Like, each round got a little bit faster as I looked at the clock. This whole thing took me like 17 minutes moving casually. So I was able to do that workout, sub 20 minutes, totally different with regards to an intensity standpoint, but a huge win when I just think about what happened to my day and that the other thing I could have done was nothing. And here's the other thing as well, and this, I'm still to this day a knucklehead, but I was quite a knucklehead in my younger days for sure. And I try to look back and sift through the ashes of some of the stupid things that I've done and try to make better decisions now. And then I tell all of you about the idiotic things that I've done that hopefully it helps you get on a better path. So I'm doing my GHD sit-ups in round 1. And the way that the GHD is positioned in our garage, when I'm at the top of the rep, I can see out the garage door into the driveway. And when I'm back, I kind of can't. Well, our 10-year-old is out in the driveway on his scooter, like trying to do some tricks. I don't know, some sort of tail whips or something. I'm not quite sure what he's doing. But he's doing some tricks, and I'm their stepdad, so they call me Pat. And I just hear his little voice from the driveway. It's like, "Hey, Pat, look at this new trick." I'm in the middle of my warm-up. Excuse me, I'm in the middle of my round 1 of my workout that I don't have a lot of time, that I'm already under the gun, that I've already had to modify, that I'm already a little stressed out because the day's schedule's moving and it's now or never. And I hear my little man's voice like, "Hey, Pat, check this out. I want to show you my new trick." Faced with a decision, right? What do I say? "Hey, buddy, sorry, can't do it. Got to work out, whatever." Or pause at the top of the GHD. have what was already going to be a highly modified, lower intensity workout now have yet another unplanned break for I don't know how long it's going to take him to show me this trick. And now my intensity goes down the tubes even a little bit more. Happy to say I did the right thing, realized what was actually important in the big picture. Fine, it's just one of those days. So stopped. Hey, show me what you got going on, little man. Showed me his trick. It was cool. And then since I did that, that opened the door to him wanting to show me several other tricks during the course of the workout, which, popped in some breaks there. So, the clock continued to run. And all I can say is, I have no regrets. Who cares? Maybe I would have done the workout 1 minute faster if I had told him, don't you understand I'm doing GHD sit-ups? And these GHD sit-ups are so much more important than my relationship with you. How dare you interrupt my GHD sit-ups? Then I obviously would have had to go jump off a bridge because I would have been a terrible human being. So anyway, I like to keep perspective, right, in mind, and working out is very important, but it's nowhere near as important as a whole bunch of other things that we just do every day. So I would just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. And I'll leave you with this. This is totally unrelated, but it just popped into my head. It's about how human beings are crazy. Totally unrelated, but just about how adults are crazy. So choose the person that you want to be. So our boys play basketball. I was talking with one of their, this is such a tangent. I was talking with one of their assistant coaches at a party over the weekend. They had like a little basketball party for the kids. This assistant coach has a couple sons. He's got an older son that is, I think, 14 or 15 years old, and he's quite a good ball player. And they're going down to Texas to play in some tournament. I can't remember if it's in Houston or San Antonio, but some big basketball tournament is happening in the near future in Texas. And this guy was saying that not only is it super competitive in this particular league or tournament, but what you can expect and count on is not only the kids on the field obviously run their mouths to each other and talk some smack and try to get in each other's heads, the parents. He said the parents on the sideline. Now, parents on the sideline, I could do a whole video on that. The things they say to the refs blow my mind. Refs out there either volunteering their time or making like $10 an hour. I mean, give the ref a break. But they said the parents will actually yell the most horrific, cutting, terrible words and insults at the children on the field, the other team, the opposing team, to try to rattle the kids and get inside the kids' heads and make the kids nervous and scared so they miss baskets and miss shots. He's like, it's just, you can just count on it. It's going to happen. Can you imagine that? Talk about priorities. Like, what sort of a human being would you be that as a grown-up, during a pastime, you're yelling insults at a 14-year-old child? I don't even know what to say. I heard that story, and I asked him if he was serious, and he said he was absolutely serious. So again, live the life you want to live, prioritize what you want to prioritize, roll how you want to roll, but just, make the decisions you make with open eyes. So, to some degree, that's related to in my head of prioritizing. So if I'm in the middle of the workout and my little man wants to show me something, the relationship that I hope to cultivate with that little person long term far exceeds what the clock's going to say at the end of the workout or whatever that happens to be. So I just like to kind of remind myself of that stuff every now and then. And like I said, I'm not standing here on a soapbox as if I'm error-free. I'm ideally trying to make some better decisions these days because of a laundry list of idiocy that has, pervade my past. So that's about it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk later.